Hello? You play to win the game.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
We're taking receipts, and I can't wait to shove it down everyone's throat when it comes around.
No question about it. I am ready.
Dolphins defense was able to keep them to 19 points.
The Vince McMahon song goes, Danny, I hope you add it to the clip. You guys have absolutely no chance of even sniffing a win this week. He's feeling a little bit more confident than I am. I am not. 0% chance. I think you guys lose this game 37-10. I'm giving you 10 points on this game. Wow. Listen, I get that it's this much, but you sound pretty optimistic about your potential of escaping with a dub. Where are you getting these 17 points from?
From my run game? I hope I'm right on this so I can clip all these back next week. And then we'll get a field goal.
Make sure you get me laughing at you.
3 days later.
What a deep ball on the way. Incomplete. Gabe Davis, the intended target. And the Jets will win it.
And then we'll get a field goal.
Make sure you get me laughing at you.
You mean when...
What a piece of shit you are, sir.
Welcome to episode number 11 of the Battered Jets fans. I am Danny, your host, and my co-host, the clown that you see to my, I guess that would be my right, would be Manny Palacios. How are you doing, sir?
I listen, I get why you did it, but you know, Jets fans, is that what you really want? Back-to-back episodes of him using the same content? You know, be better, Danny.
For the record, the reason I used it is because when I tried to use it last week, unfortunately, the video that I uploaded didn't have the clown music, and I just needed to put it out there. I needed it out in the ether.
Of course, yeah.
So,
I appreciate that.
I had to use it. I'm sorry. It was a bye week. I had nothing else to use. But how are you? In all seriousness, how are you, man?
I'm doing amazing, man. It's been a good week as far as being a Dolphins fan. It's been an even better week. Just, you know, life has its ups and downs. So far, I've been on a high. So, man, I just want to keep riding that high wave. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. We didn't lose this weekend, so even better. And we got a guest. We got a special guest.
That's the word. Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, we were blessed to have Mr. Frank from the Gotham City Crew join us, Chop Champ, and all that other good stuff. We had a great time with him. He was funny as hell. And now we have another member from the Gotham City Crew. I said group. Gotham City Crew.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Lou. How are you doing, Lou?
What's up, guys? How you doing? I got my buddy Luke here to keep us company throughout the show.
I like it. I like it.
I like dogs. Manny's a cat guy. He's weird.
He's a little upset because they had to shave him down. He missed his grooming appointment by a couple months, so he was a little mad. So he had to get.
I love the fact that he's going to be a part of the show. What I like even better, and it's a very small detail, but you know what? I pick up on the small details. Is that teal wristband that you have? You know, I feel like you're showing some kind of support right now on that teal wristband you're wearing. Is that teal? Oh, I'm talking.
Oh,
yeah.
Good eye.
Oh, look at that. That matches a lot with that color. Just letting you know.
Take that shit off.
This was actually a fundraising event that we went to for the Puerto Rican Alliance of Elizabeth, a town I work in here in Jersey. And those are the wristbands they gave when you attended the event. But
it's a great color.
Knowing
it's a great cause
with the Dolphins. Yeah, it was for a great cause, and I even forgot that I had it on. It's actually been a month.
I like it.
It's one of those things.
Anyway, so Gotham City Crew. Obviously, if you're a Jets fan, you know who the Gotham City Crew is.
For sure.
They have, I would assume, probably the best tailgate, if not one of the best tailgates out at MetLife. And then you guys this year have been straight road warriors. I know the trio hasn't been able to get out, but the duo, you and Frank, have been absolutely everywhere, undefeated. So you guys got to make sure you keep going out to the games. How's that been? How's it been going out to all the games?
Well, it's been surreal. I got to give Claudio a shout out. He did make the Browns, the Cleveland game, and Pittsburgh before he had the baby. But Frank and I are taking the lead. We're going to keep the streak going. You know, the Jets are finally giving us something to stay motivated about and make these road trips. It makes it a lot easier when we're walking away from all these beautiful venues with the dub, and obviously along the way we're meeting a lot of awesome people that are from those areas, people that have been traveling with us that come to our tailgates, and it's just an awesome experience. And I noticed more than anything else, when you're on the road, the unity between the fan base, just it comes together. Everybody's looking at each other for support, and we're truly, should I say, in this together when we go to enemy territory for these road games.
Now, the first time I spoke to Claudio was before the Detroit game where we played Monday Night Football, Sam Darnold's debut, and he was going out there. You guys, I'm assuming, were going out there, and I remember I wanted to go, couldn't go, but since then, I've been watching you guys, and you guys have hit a lot of cities. I was curious, what has been your favorite city to visit or stadium to visit?
Well, there's two, and each one is totally different experiences. Obviously, Lambeau is the mecca of football. So much history out there. That town is just surreal. For one of the oldest stadiums, they've done so much work over the years. Because I went out there 8 years ago for the Geno Smith game, and that game we started off hot, and of course they lost that one. We had the folly with the timeout and things of that nature. But this time around, we teamed up with Go Gangrene Travel. We teamed up with them. He put a luxury package together. Anyone that had the opportunity to partake in that package know what I'm talking about. It was A plus all the way. From when they picked us up from the airport in the bus, they had food, drinks, to the cocktail reception party that we had Saturday night in the Legend Club inside Lambeau Field. The tailgate, we had Marty Lyons show up, which was awesome, and obviously the game. But Green Bay as a whole, Appleton, Green Bay, Wisconsin, just great football towns. Everybody's so polite. I kind of felt bad cheering because they're so nice up there. Nice. You don't want to rub it in, but us being Jets fans, we couldn't help ourselves.
Right.
I had to keep Frank to a minimum because Frank could go on these rants, and I'm like, if these people don't deserve that, I can see if we were in Philly or in Foxborough,
or Miami,
or Miami, then give them the business. But Green Bay, I just love people there. I would definitely go back. It's just an awesome experience, and just knowing the history of the Green Bay Packers in the NFL just goes back to pretty much day one. The second most favorite the trip I had or stadium I visit, and we visited a lot throughout the last couple of years, was Jacksonville, and the reason for that was it was a surreal experience. We had the spa suite, they call it. So we all know Jacksonville had problems filling up their stadiums. They were getting their games were getting blacked out on television. So long story short, they added 4 pool suites in the 300 levels. So, of course, Claudio and I was like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this right. So we rented a whole pool suite. The pool suite fits up to 50 people. All you can eat, all you can drink. It's all part of the package deal. I want to say it was like $50,000 to rent out. Something like ridiculous. I don't remember, but we got it done. One of my coworkers knows the guy in marketing, so he kind of got us up on the list because, of course, all the corporate sponsors go first. They get first dibs at all these suites before they release it out to the kind of like the general public. So we were able to get it. It was just surreal because we're sitting in the pool watching the game live, and then the cherry on top was, and we kind of knew about it because we have a relationship with former Jet Lavernius Coles. He lives out in Jacksonville. We actually went to his nightclub the night before. We did a Jets get together there. They had a couple players there, and then he told us, "Hey, listen, I heard you got the suite. You want me to come by?" I said, "Yeah, come by." And he winds up bringing Darrelle Revis. So Darrelle Revis, Lavernius Coles are hanging out in the pool suite with Gotham City Crew for a little while, which was
that's fucking dope.
I would have never predicted anything like that happening, and it did.
That's pretty awesome. And Gotham City Crew, I know Claudio. I spoke to him when I was on his Gotham City Crew podcast, and he was telling me he went to South America. He saw the supporters group. He's like, "What? They should be one like that for the Jets." And were you friends with Claudio for like a long time? Did you guys meet him through Gotham City? Like, how did all of this come together?
Well, it's a funny story because I've been a season ticket holder since 2006 when I started making some real money. So I had season tickets in the old stadium, and when the new stadium opened up, a lot of the guys I work with that had tickets gave them up because of the PSLs. So, I went from having a steady tailgate of 20 to 30 guys every home game to, I don't know, we were down to like a dozen guys because guys were like, yeah, we got priced out, we're not going. Plus, after they saw the stadium, they weren't too happy with the results anyway. That's a different. So, long story short, Claudio, when he started Gotham City Crew back in 2015, Claudio's always thinking of ways of trying to get fans together and things of that nature. So he kind of did. Remember the show MTV Cribs?
Yeah.
So he would go to different tailgates and feature them, and people got to know everybody. Like, listen, I've been in Lot J my whole season ticket life, if you want to say, and since I've been a season ticket holder, but I never knew other guys in the stadium. I just knew, my guys, the guys we tailgated with. So Claudio, came up with a great idea back then, and he was doing that, and he came across my tailgate, and we kind of hit it off. And he was like, "Listen, I like to feature your tailgate and bring some of the people over to meet you, and so on and so forth." So later on that season, he slid into my DMs, and he was like, "Hey, you want to go out and grab a couple of drinks? I want to talk to you about something, maybe a business opportunity." And I was like, "You know what? Sure. Hear him out." So we met in the city, went to a comedy show, and he's like, "Listen, this is what I want to do. I want to continue to doing this. And out of all the tailgates that I went to, I love what you guys do. The environment's safe. You got a great location. The bus, the trailer. I had a lot of that equipment that you see at the tailgates now prior to us joining forces. And I was a little hesitant, like anything else in the beginning, because I'm like, I'm used to just doing something small and intimate, and to have people that I don't know come and go, and because of my profession, I always want to make sure that the environment stays a family, friendly environment. I'm all in for having fun, but we can do it a safe and friendly way.
Is it safe? Is it safe for opposite side fans too, or just making sure? Because I know you're coming down to Miami as well.
Listen, we pride ourselves on that because we know what it's like being on the road and looking for a safe and fun place to tailgate. So we don't shy away. We may heckle you a little bit when I get on the it doesn't get to the level of any disrespect or any of that nonsense, because we don't tolerate that.
I could deal with this guy, so I'm sure I could deal with a little bit of heckling from you guys as well.
Yeah, it's all in good nature, and we make sure that it stays that way.
Well, that's awesome.
One thing I noticed, Danny, if you mind me jumping in here, obviously leave it to the fat guy to talk about food. One thing that I've noticed from all you guys when you guys go out there and tailgate, man, you guys put down some really good food. It looks amazing. Obviously, want to eat my phone just looking at it. I want to know if you have any ideas already. Like, do you guys go into each tailgate when you guys do this? And it's like, all right, this week we're cooking this week we're cooking that. Is that something you already pre-planned before you head out?
Yeah, no doubt. I can't take credit. I got to give credit where credit's due, should I say. Frank is the mad scientist. We bounce ideas off each other. Sometimes I'm his test dummy, and he's like, "Hey, I want you to try this. I'm thinking about doing this." But yeah, we try to come up with a theme. I think it's fun when you have a theme. Like, the last home game we did, we played the Buffalo Bills, so we had the buffalo chicken empanadas. We had some wings that Frank made, and we kind of let it fit the theme of who we're playing with. And then when we played Miami, we had the 305 burger, which is he put the pork loin together into like a kind of like a hamburger patty, and it was like a hybrid Cuban sandwich, but into a burger type thing, and it was phenomenal. And Frank does a great job with that. He prides himself. If it doesn't hit his standards, it won't be served at the tailgate. So he takes a lot of pride in that. And ever since we've joined forces with Frank, it just took the Gotham City Crew tailgate experience to another level. Because now, some people come for the party, some people come for the drinks, some people come for the food. So we cover all our bases, and not to say our food wasn't up to par before, but we have a full-blown kitchen now. Frank, as you mentioned, won the Chop Champion, the Ultimate Tailgate, and with his winnings, he bought this trailer, which is a full-blown kitchen. It's got the smoker, it's got the deep fryer, it's got the flat-top grill, it's got everything. There's nothing that he can't make, and we have it at our expense at our tailgate. So it's fun to have. It's fun to watch him put these menus together, and we give our input, our ideas, and he runs with it.
I'm looking forward to that.
Now, we're going to start talking football in a second. I just had one more question before we got to the actual football stuff. My issue with having a tailgate, and obviously I've never had anything even near what you guys do, right? It's just very, very small. But once 12, 15 hits, I'm like, all right, start packing this shit up because I don't want to miss a snap. You guys go all the way through, I'm assuming, to like almost kickoff. Do you miss some of the game?
Yeah, so we work as a team. So the first thing that gets shut down, like Frank will start serving dessert, whether it's his Zeppelis or one of his signature empanadas. So we do a last call, entree stuff, and then we start pumping out the desserts. Desserts, we usually have them out on the table, and people can start helping themselves on their way in. Obviously, I got the tough part with the logistics of the equipment, the tents, those things we can't afford to leave outside. They're so expensive that, a lot of times I don't make it in until 1:15, 1:20. But now that even the Jets have put a sense of urgency to get everybody, to get the butts into the stand before kickoff, it kind of helps us with the crowd. So now they know that, hey, listen, by 12:15, grab your last drink, grab your last bite to eat. Let's start walking, and then it gives me time as people start to leave. I start to break down stations, and we have a full staff, so it goes pretty quick. I can't say it's just me. Claudio knows what he has to do. I know what I have to do. The staff member's been with us for years. They're taking care of their stations. They're cleaning up. They're preparing everything to put away, and then we pack everything in the trailer, the bus, and then usually by 1:15 we're on our way in. Which is obviously it's a small sacrifice. It sucks. Ideally, I would love to be. Sure.
But I appreciate what you guys do because that's awesome.
When they do the national anthem and the flag ceremony, but I take joy in seeing other people have fun and have a good time with us. So it's a small sacrifice I make, which is why I love the road games because I'm in my butt's in the seats before kickoff, and I don't have to worry about that stuff.
By the way, we got to finally welcome Jack Green Santa to the show. What's up, Frank?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Yeah, man, Lou's filling us in about how your food has been subpar since you started, no?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. No. Top notch from Frank. We appreciate what you guys
put
do.
It through another cooking competition. We're going to have to get some so we're calling all chefs. We're going to have a cook-off in J3. You got to battle Frank West for the
I'll be a judge and I'll eat all the food. Just saying.
What you should do is you should find who the best cook is for an opposing team and just have a cook-off between Frank and whoever. Hey, New England, bring your best, and then let's have a cook-off.
It's funny you mentioned that because in Denver, we had somebody that Frank set us up with, and he hosted us. The Jets fans saw our tailgate with them, and I seen her behind the grill and I was busting her chops because she had a corn dog that she makes. And those that've been to a Gotham City Crew to a tailgate know that Frank puts out a signature corn dog as well. The carpet bombs, he calls them, the jalapeno stuffed cheddar hot dogs with his signature, whatever you want to call that. But he puts it together, and she's claiming that her corn dog was better than Frank's. And then after one bite, I knew that was incorrect. So, and I'm not being biased. And those are one of my favorite little things to munch on because when I'm at the tailgate, I'm running around, I'm working. I don't have time to sit down and eat everything. So I've made Frank put a to-go container for me so I don't miss out on the that he puts together.
The man.
Yeah, I would welcome it, honestly. And I'm not trying to be cocky or whatever, but even like my wife gets upset. Like if we go out to eat, she's like, "Why do we even bother? You're like, you cook better than like and all these restaurants we go to." But that's where I get my ideas from. So like,
Right.
I kind of it's kind of nice to find if somebody does something better. But I mean, and I hate even talking about it because like I sound like a dick. But the idea is, it's not. I don't know how to say it. I mean, I guess what I do is I elevate street food. Like if I'm taking something from Latino culture, like an empanada, you're not gonna get a normal empanada out of me, right? I'm making like either dessert empanadas, pumpkin pie, apple pie, like almost like a cheesecake inside. Or if I do like the entree empanadas, it's always something like I made bacon cheeseburger empanadas one time, right? And everybody picked them up and they're like, it's an empanada. They bit into it and they're like, oh my God, I'm eating a bacon cheeseburger. Like they couldn't figure out what was happening. Or, even like I was experimenting with some Asian stuff a couple weeks ago. I only made enough for the guys that were setting up because I didn't know how it was going to go over. And I didn't want to, I didn't want to, if I make one and I don't like it, I'll just throw the whole batch in the garbage. But if I like it, then I'll test it out on Lou and Claudio and those guys. And if they're all on board, then I'll do it another time. But I was making like, almost like pot stickers, but it was like a fried dumpling that I made, and I don't know. I can't leave well enough. It's like a 17-year-old kid that's got a car, right? He wants to put rims on. He wants to tint the windows. That's kind of the way I am with the food, So if I try something that I like, if I go out to a restaurant and I have something for the first time and I'm like, oh, this is good, but I think we should do this, this, and this. And I'll go home and I'll work it out. And it just, I don't know. I've been lucky so far. People have been receptive to what I make. So if there's somebody out there if somebody out there wants to come take a swing, I don't care. It's,
Well,
right?
I mean, it was all, in good fun. I was joking, but if you guys do want to do that, we do know a lot of people from the deep end here from the Dolphins fan side. So we could find the rest
We can find-
over here.
yeah, we
and
can find
set
somebody to go
something up
head-to-head
for the
with.
last game of the year, especially since that game might be for the AFC East crown. I'm all for it. I don't want to put you guys in anything you don't want to be involved in. But if you guys want to do that,
I got the sources.
let us know.
I got the
and
sources.
We have the connection on both sides. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, just I'll just need a couple of things. I'll just need to know what equipment I'm gonna have access to. Obviously, I can't bring all my stuff down there, So if I'm gonna have access to like a grill, a fryer, a boiler, whatever's available, and then I'll just work my menu around what equipment is there.
Well, like I said,
We'll figure it out.
If you guys are serious about it, after the show, we'll get together and we'll think it up because we can make it happen for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could even like the 305 burgers. I could do those anywhere.
But before we think about the Dolphins, we got to think about the Patriots.
Yes,
We got to
yes.
take care of it. We got to take care of it this week. It's a big game. We were
yes.
disappointed at the last the last game that we played them. We had that game. Yeah, we got a couple bad calls against us. That pick six would have stand before the halftime. I think 17-3 changes the whole dynamic of that game. And now that with our defense, you just play defense. Zach there's no pressure on Zach. You're up 2 touchdowns. We pretty much had them. We were limiting them to field goals. So I think that game would have went totally our way if that pick six would have stand and we went up 2 touchdowns going into halftime. But with that being said, I think our defense is going to have to pull it out again. Let's get the ground and pound going. We got Robinson, obviously Breece Hall getting hurt. I think that kid is talented, and I think he's going to break a lot of Jets records in the near future. And I just hope he comes back healthy next season, and we can get to pick up where he left off because he was on pace, man. He just, you can tell how talented Breece Hall is, and he always had the opportunity to just break one open and change the whole dynamic of a game.
I think the issue with the Patriots game is that they decided to abandon the run. Like Breece Hall got injured the week before, and then they just decided, we don't have Breece Hall anymore. First 15 plays, let's throw 12 of them. And it's like, just because you lost Breece Hall doesn't mean you abandoned the run. You still have Michael Carter. You just traded for James Robinson. Like, I think that was the biggest mistake. Even with that game plan, we still had a great chance to win. Like you said, with that pick six, we at that point, 17-6, or was it 17-3 at that point? 17-6-3. At that point, I think we win that game. But as soon as they threw that flag, not only did they bring back those 6 points, but they gave him an extra 15 yards. Giving them those extra 15 yards gave them that field goal. All of a sudden, they got 3 points. Second half starts. Braden Mann, I don't know what's going on with his cleats. 2 games in a row, he slips. He slips, they get the ball like at the 50-yard line. 2 or 3 plays later, they're in the end zone. Those sequence of events, those 10 points were the difference in the game. If Braden Mann doesn't slip, if that pick six doesn't get called back, if they don't get those extra 15 yards for those 3 points, like, this game is completely different. Now, my issue is that I feel oddly confident going into Sunday, and that almost scares me because I'm usually not this confident about a game, especially on the road against Bill Belichick. But I feel like we should win this game hands down, and I don't even think it should be. I don't want to say we're going to blow them out, but it should be at least 7 to 10 point win, I think, because I don't think that they should be able to do absolutely anything against our defense. They didn't do much against us the first game outside of those 10 points and those sequence of events, and I can't imagine that they would do too much against us now. What do you think, Manny?
Honestly, and I know that you and I have done a few Jet shows leading up to this one. It's hard for me not to feel confident for you guys coming into this game, because if it wasn't for as many mental mistakes as you guys had in that first game, you guys should have won that game. So now coming into this one and knowing how hungry your defense was right after that game, it's like, don't worry about it. We're going to see them in a few weeks. Like, they were already, it's bad to look ahead, but they were looking ahead. They were ready to go ahead and say, we're going to show up ready for that game. After a week of preparation, and you know, I think we both shared admiration for how good Bill Belichick is as a head coach. But again, just looking at your defense is better than their offense. Your offense is better than their defense. There's nobody on that team that scares me at all. I kind of got to agree with you, man. I feel really confident that there shouldn't be a reason. And I get it. It's in Foxborough. I do get that. You guys have struggled in Foxborough. But just based off where the team is right now and the type of football you guys have been putting together for these last few weeks, and honestly, where you guys are now that nobody else expected, maybe outside of a few people, I don't see how you guys don't go into Foxborough and win this game. That's just my 2 cents on that. What about you, Frank?
My only concern, and it's the same thing every time we play this team, we're playing 11 on 17. Yeah. I don't know if Kraft must have naked pictures of Alberto Riveron or something like that, because at the end of the day, when you look at how we played that last game against the Patriots, there are 3 plays that changed the whole complexion of the game, and they were all 3 roughing the passer penalties that you watch them, and the next day on Good Morning Football, Sports Center, all of it, they're like, where's this penalty? I don't see it. Everybody's complaining about the same thing. Within a half a step of the quarterback, when he releases the ball, just touch, not even tackle or anything, and you're going to call a roughing the passer. Meanwhile, against the Bills, Zach takes 2 head-to-heads. The guy lowers his head, bang. Damn, I thought he was going to knock him unconscious, and nothing. No flags or anything. But it's always the same. There's this anti-Jet sentiment throughout the league, and I'm sick of it. But yeah, honestly,
Frank, we saw
I'm cocky on it.
That got
What's
hurt.
that?
We saw it last year too when they went low and they rolled up on Zach underneath his leg and he wound up hurting his knee. That put him out for 4 years.
It's literally like anything goes against the Jets. You could do whatever you want to us. We'll never throw a flag. But if you look at a player on the opposing team wrong, and it's never just a little replay 3rd down. It's always 15 yards 1st down. It's always these tremendous penalties. It's sickening.
Yeah. But I think it's more than anything, the whole Jets thing. I think it's just Zach Wilson being a young quarterback. Unfortunately, in the NFL, they don't give any respect to the young quarterbacks. Unless you play for the Patriots. Obviously, if you play for the Patriots, it's different, right? Mac Jones gets calls that no other rookie quarterback gets called. But I think it's Zach Wilson because he hasn't earned it, I guess. That's how they feel. I'm not sure what it is exactly. But I don't know if it's so much anti-Jets as it is anti-young QB.
I would agree with you, but we're seeing it. I thought that was going to stop when Tom Brady left to the Patriots, and we're seeing it with Mac Jones now. So I think
the Patriots. They love the Patriots.
Yeah, I think it has to do with Belichick and their admiration for him. and he gets every call. They get every call.
No.
Well, I'm gonna say one thing in closing because I do have to get going. I hate to cut it short on you guys.
No, not at all.
But you were saying how you're a little nervous because you feel confident going into next week. Well, let me tell you something. There's an audio clip out there. I used it in one of my reels. So if you go through my stuff, you'll see I put it over the top of a Gotham City Crew tailgate party. But there's a Rex Ryan quote saying how, last year we were under the radar and that's good. And it's like bullshit. You want to be on the radar. So get used to it, is Rex's words, because this is where we're going to be. We're going to be expected to win every game we go to for a very long time right now because we have a very talented, very young team. And I'm saying over the next few years, it's not going to be, are we going to win? It's going to be by how much. Yeah, I'm getting cocky, dude, because honestly, these guys, I'm watching these young kids play, and it is absolutely incredible what they're doing on the field. The numbers they're putting up for rookies, right? I mean, the 3 that we drafted in the first round alone are enough to take over the league. But then everybody else, I mean, it's all coming together for us, and I'm feeling good about it. But go ahead.
Let me ask you a question before you cut out, because I do you think, what's your honest opinion, and I want your last opinion on this before you got to head out. Do you think they're playing as well are just due to how good of a job Robert Saleh and his crew is doing? I need to hear your opinion on that.
I tell you what, I had my doubts about Saleh last year at the beginning of the season. It just wasn't coming together. And then when people made the comparison between him and Rex, who I'm still a firm believer is the best coach that we ever had. And I was disgusted when we got rid of him. Yeah. I think the change needed to be at GM, not at head coach, but it is what it is, and we had to live with it. So when Rex came out and said, don't compare yourself to me. I've done things that no other coach of this team has ever done or whatever. And then Saleh called him out and said, hey, you know where I am if you want to talk. Well, within a week's time, Rex turned around and said, hey, listen, this guy's got a solid plan for this team. I like where he's headed. And I'm sorry if I came off wrong about him. I'm a believer in this guy. So when the guy that I believed in as the best head coach we ever had turns around and says that, I gave him a second shake. And just watching what he did this season, like him coming out saying, we're taking receipts, because he knew what was in store down the road. It was just a matter of a little spit and polish. Because, I mean, I don't remember if it was your podcast or it was someone else. They asked me early in the season, how do you think the Jets are going to finish? And I said, in all likelihood, just based on talent alone, we should be able to pull a double-digit season down. I said, however, if these young kids can all play together, because that's the biggest thing, like if egos get in the way and people start hot dogging, you're not going to get the results without the teamwork. So my caveat that I left for myself was if these young kids can play together and stay healthy, we can see. I forget exactly how I put it. I didn't want to lock myself into a number.
Right.
I think I said we could see beyond just double digits, possibly a playoff bye or something along the lines like that. So I still stand by that. If these guys can continue to grow as not only in their own careers, but as a team, there's nobody that could stop us. And let them keep sleeping on us. Let Brady Quinn keep talking his shit. I'm going to attack him after every single Jet win. Look at my reels. Oh, they'll be 0-9 by the bye week. Go fuck yourself. How's that sound? The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's what I'm calling him. Quasimodo. 0-9 because we fired you after 3 games. Go fuck yourself. But at the end of the day, this is a solid team. And yeah, I'm going to be cocky about it because when you see guys out there like Sauce, like Garrett Wilson, like Jermaine Johnson, even Michael Clemens, who slides under the radar. The man's probably clinically insane, but he is a scary human being. What is he? He's like the 4th best in the league for like rush defense. Nobody talks about him. Yeah. Are you kidding me? He's a savage. And there's just there's so much depth. There's so much depth. It all comes together. And all right, I'm saying too much now because watch, we'll end up losing this game and I'll look like an asshole. But
well, if we lose this game, do you still see double-digit wins?
Absolutely. Okay. I said all along that just the talent on this team alone, 10 wins shouldn't be an issue for us. The issue right now is them buckling down, staying on course, and we could see, 12, 13 wins out of this team.
Okay.
There, you made me put a number on it. I said it. There it is.
I like it. We ain't make you. You did it, but okay, we like it anyway.
All right, guys. Listen, you guys have a good night. Don't let Lou talk shit on me, even though I'm not going to be tuned in, because I'll watch this in the reruns.
You got it. All right, Frank.
All right, Frank, man. Thanks for joining.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you.
Well, Lou, you heard it there first. The reason I brought up the coaching, Lou, was just for that was for.
Is that why you got to reel him back in Green Bay? You got to reel him back a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, Frank, these people don't deserve to hear you ramble. Let them enjoy the game. Because you can see how passionate he is. We all are, but I know when to pick and choose my battles, and that Green Bay crowd that didn't deserve to hear Frank go on, and he's like, "Oh, but we deserve this." I said, "I know, Frank, but we can do all the shit talking later on, and so on and so forth. But you don't have to give it to him in real life."
Well, I wanted to bring it back to you because I brought up that coaching tidbit just for Danny, because Danny was already talking shit about his coach earlier in the season. But I honestly think that the reason that your team is playing as well as they're playing is just because of how good your coaching staff is. Obviously, the depth you have on this team is how good of a team Joe Douglas has built. But from that standpoint, you got to admit that from a coaching standpoint, from offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, everybody's doing a bang-up job with these young guys and this team to putting them where they are right now.
Well, yeah, of course you have to give them credit, because at the end of the day, they put everything together.
Right.
But I think we had one of the best drafts, not only in Jets history, maybe in all-time history. Just think about
I agree.
Finish, like, obviously we know the top three guys: Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson. They're just
Hall.
I'm not even going to the second round yet, but
okay.
These guys, even Max Mitchell showed up.
Yep.
He stepped up before he got hurt. Hopefully he's coming back this week.
Michael Clemens.
The list goes on, and it's like, not only were they were great college players, but they're producing right away in the NFL.
Yeah,
and
they're all producing. Yep.
Sometimes you don't see that. We saw with Quentin Williams. He had a great college career, and he kind of we saw flashes his first couple of years. And then now we see the guy that everybody wanted to see at number 3 or 4 that we took him in. But these kids it's like they walked in and, yeah, we've been here before. We've done this. We can do this. Especially Sauce. It's like Sauce plays like he's been in the league for 5-6 years, and he's been shutting corners down his whole life, which he has, but not on this level. And to see him do it on this level makes everybody's job a lot easier.
And that's what I like. What I like about Sauce is that the refs, I don't know if it's the NFL that's contacting the refs, but even as a Jets fan, I'll admit he's getting away with being a little handsy. And I don't know if it's because they're like, you know what, this guy's promoting the league well. Let's let him be a little more physical, because the receivers are physical with him, and they're not calling offensive pass interference either.
That's right.
They're just saying, let Sauce play, and the receiver knows you guys are just going to duke it out. And I like it. But sure. I'm surprised that with the rookie, they're letting him be so physical with the receivers.
Well, yeah, he's got that cloud already, and we see it. And I think they're kind of like dialing it back a little bit, because if you saw that Vikings and Buffalo game, bro, those guys were ripping all over Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I looked, I'm like, I'm surprised that you didn't get a flag there, but they're letting these guys play, which is good. Don't dictate the outcome of the game too much. Call it when you need to call it. But we see how big of a call that was, that roughing the passer right before halftime at the last Patriots game, and that kind of switched things up for both teams. But I just think these kids, they knocked it out of the park. Joe Douglas, the whole the scouting staff really picked high character guys, and they're producing right away. And obviously it's unfortunate we lost Breece Hall, but I think Joe Douglas, hit it out of the park by picking up Robinson. And, he's another solid back. We saw what he did his first 3 seasons in Jacksonville. So I think this team is ready to win now. And, if Zach can – we know Zach can make every throw. That's no doubt. Whether he's giving enough time to complete those throws. Obviously our offensive lines had suffered so many injuries. And that's the scary part. Just imagine if our offensive line was healthy. And we had Becton. We had all these guys that we picked up. Dwayne Brown didn't miss any games, and Fant,
George Fant, yeah,
and Max Mitchell. Look, he stepped in, but he was more of a project than anything else, and he's producing. So just imagine if they had that steady chemistry going where our original starters were playing together, I think obviously that would have been a lot easier for Zach. But things happen. This is the NFL, and you got a next man up mentality, and I think they did a heck of a job doing that. So
I think with Zach needs the mental to catch up with his physical, though, because a lot of the times the pressure that he feels, it's like he almost creates it himself because he runs out of the pocket so quickly. So it's like he's almost running right by the edge rusher as he's being blocked, and he either needs to step into the pocket or just wait another second.
That's a great point. And, and I think maybe that's from trauma from last year dealing with, we had no talent and he thought he had to do it all by himself. This year, it's a lot different. He's got the weapons, let these guys make plays for you. And to not to harp on this Patriots game, but another big drive or big play in that game was that 4th and 5. And he, instead of running it up the middle because the lane was wide open, he could have ran for 10 yards.
He tried to
Conklin in the end zone. And if we would have scored on that drive, now we're right there again. So,
right.
These are the things he needs. He doesn't want to be a running quarterback, but he's running the wrong way a lot of times. And he's doing these 360s, trying to avoid sacks. Listen, see what Justin Fields is doing. Look, you see him. He's running for 100. I don't want Zach Wilson running for 180 yards a game, but if it's there, take it. And
sure.
Nobody's gonna be pissed at you if you're running for 5-6 yards at a clip instead of running backwards and then either throwing an interception or throwing it away.
Let me pick your head about it here because I know that we got to pick this game as well, and obviously we talked about it a little bit. But one thing that me and Danny have already talked about at length over the last 2 Jet shows that we've done is you didn't expect to be here at the season. I don't know personally what your expectations were coming into the season, so I guess it'll be a 2-part question. But if you lose this game, does it change your mindset on the rest of the season? And kind of where did you think the Jets were going to be by this point when you initially looked at your schedule?
It's a great question. And for me, the last couple of years, it's the mindset of just give me some competitive football to watch. I'm tired of being at home. And then we're down 30-4 going into halftime, and at 30-3, I should say, going into halftime, and you're like, "What the heck am I doing?" Right. You're giving me nothing to cheer about, nothing to hang out, And I wanted. I knew we had a good draft. Everybody was saying we had a good draft, which I was kind of like, "Oh, maybe they're gonna mush us," because I'm superstitious like that way.
Yeah.
But these kids are playing, playing above at least my expectations, and I think some of these guys are going to make the Pro Bowl this year. But leading up to that second part, if they lose this game, I think this team's already shown. And that last game that we lost to them was a huge letdown because we had all the excitement. We had this winning streak going. Zach Wilson was undefeated at the time, so on and so forth. And then we kind of give away the game. And what do? This young team bounced back the following week and beat the Buffalo Bills.
Yes, he did.
So I think they're already, no matter what happens, win or lose on Sunday, I think this team has shown this already, and it's still early in the season, that they have the mindset, you know what? Yeah, we could have won that game. We lost it. Let's move on and continue what we're doing.
And the biggest thing, before I let Danny jump in here, is the fact that what I've shared with Danny about this is that even if you guys lose, and I don't think you will, I'm going to keep saying that, I don't think you guys are losing this game. But even if you do, the fact that everybody in this division of ours is within 1 game of each other, it might be important from like, God damn it, we lost to the Patriots, but I don't think it's as big as people are trying to make it out to be that are in the Jets fan base. I think you could get away with losing this game, seeing what you did wrong, learning from it, and bringing it into next week. But I agree with you. I don't think it's as big as people are making it out to be. But Danny, go ahead, jump in.
Well, this game is important. Like you said, if we lose, we're in last place in the division. Yeah. If we win and somehow the Chiefs and the Ravens lose, we end up being in first place in the AFC. So, it's 2 completely different outcomes depending on the win or loss.
For sure.
So I don't think it changes the complete trajectory of the season, but I do think that the water gets a little murkier if we lose. Because if you look at the rest of the schedule, including this week's Patriots game, we have 5 road games. And it's the Patriots, the Vikings, the Seahawks, the Dolphins, and the Bills. All 5 of those games on the road, all 5 of those games against really good playoff teams. So we need to take this game against the Patriots because we feel like we're better than them. And we need to take those 3 home games that we have left. If we don't get those 4 games, things are going to get tight for us because we got some really before the season started. I thought the end of the season is going to be the soft part of the schedule. I was completely wrong. The second half of the schedule ends up being the hardest part of the schedule because these teams on the road, they're looking. I didn't think the Seahawks were going to be what they are. The Seahawks completely surprised me. The Vikings also. I thought they would be good, but not what they are right now. So I think that we need this game badly. So I don't think it's the end of the season, but I feel like it's not a must win. But like Gunny said yesterday, it's a can't lose. Like you can't lose this game.
And I feel like you kind of touch on the next subject that I wanted to bring it up. I think you touched on it already. So your biggest concern in the second half, besides the strength of schedule, is the fact that you have so many road games. I'm assuming that's your biggest concern for the second half of the season.
It's not so much the road games because we played well on the road. It's the fact of the competition we're playing. Like we're going to Minnesota. We're going to Buffalo. You know, we're going to Seattle, which even when they're a bad team at home, they play well. So fuck the Dolphins. The Dolphins suck. So I feel like that's what makes things a little more difficult is the fact that we have these tough road games coming up. So for sure, I'm worried about the road opponents.
Hit me with it, Lou. What's your biggest concern for the second half of the season, the games you got remaining?
Health. If this team stays healthy and we start getting some of our pieces back, I think the sky's the limit. You know, I get your concern, and yeah, you look on paper, you saw maybe the back half was the easier part. Listen, it's the NFL is a week-to-week league. You know, 1 week the Bills looked like the team that nobody can beat, and now they look like, hey, maybe they're in trouble.
They've been punched in the mouth and they feel it.
Correct. And listen, week to week, that's why as much as I want to win this game and snap this stupid streak, and Solid made it a point to emphasize, hey, listen, we haven't won a division game. We won 2 already, you know. And I said this in the beginning of the year. I said for us to make the playoffs, we have to go at least 3-3 in the division. We go anything less than 500 in the division, then the playoffs are not coming our way because we know how the AFC shakes out. We're 2-1 right now. I think if we get this win, we'll be 3-1. We'll be in a great spot. The best part of being on the road is the defense. When you have a good defense, the defense travels well. You know, the offense is what you have to worry about.
And a good running game travels well. You guys have a good running game right now.
And that's the only thing you have to worry about when you're on the road is the offense, because that's where the noise comes in. But the defense, I think that's why this team plays solid on the road, because the defense it plays even stronger when they're on the road, and I think there's less of a distraction. We see we're 2-3 at home, and we're 4-0 on the road. So, and I'll give you this little nugget real quick, and I realized this the other day. The last time the Jets won a regular season game in Foxborough was in 2008. I was at that game with Brett Favre. I think it was a Sunday night game, and the Jets won. They were 7-3, and I think the Patriots were 5-4 at this time. So I think history is going to repeat itself. Jets win. You know, we kind of humble the Patriots. I think out of all the teams in our division, they might be the least talented wise right now.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to show that on Sunday.
All right. I like that because it's going to lead into my quick 2 points, Danny, before I let you finish it off. My biggest concern is not as far as for the Jets' point of view. My biggest concern is that your defense starts playing even better than what they've been playing up till now, because my view on it is my offense can keep up with anybody in the league right now. So from a defense standpoint, which you and I have discussed at nauseum, is how bad my defense has looked when we're on the road. So I'm not worried about your offense at all. But the fact that your defense could probably stifle our offense, and now it's a coin toss, that's my biggest concern from an outside perspective looking in. But picking this game, Danny, like I said, 27-10, I don't see the Patriots putting more than 10 points on you guys. The Michael Carter, James Robinson, I liked Michael Carter last year when you guys drafted Breece Hall. You and I talked about it, the trade. I thought Joe Douglas knocked it out the park for this draft. I gave you guys an A+ when we did our preseason show. But honestly, your defense is playing lights out. Are they in that top 5 category? I told you they're flirting with it. But again, I think you guys win this game 27-10. I don't see Mac Jones doing anything against his defense. And then I don't see their defense slowing down your running game. And Zach's mentality, if it's not there, I'm going to run out the pocket the way he did the last couple of games. I think you're going to see a lot of that this upcoming Sunday. But those are my 2 cents. I'm biggest concern in previewing this game.
What about you, Lou? When you think about this game, I mean, I think you're predicting a win. What
Right.
score? How do you think things are going to play out?
Well, I'm with you on that. Like a 24-10 type game. My biggest concern, it can get to 17 for the Patriots if Zach makes a mistake.
Yeah.
Gives them a short field and they get a gimme touchdown. But if Zach plays a clean game, I can see it being 24-10 and our defense doing it. They're going to continue doing what they're doing, and putting pressure. And I love the fact that we don't have to blitz to get to the quarterback. When was the last time the Jets can say that? We're the least, whatever they want to call it, that team that blitzes
least often, huh?
Yeah.
Yep, and I think they said it was like 4% of the snaps of the defensive snaps that the Jets have blitzed because they have a solid rotation of the defensive line. We have depth there. They rotate these guys out. They keep them fresh. That the whole fallout that Quentin Williams had where we saw him yelling at, that was because he didn't want the team to blitz.
Yep.
He goes, listen, we're going to get to these guys. Let us do our job and we'll get it. And that was kind of a turning point in the season. And everybody was, maybe the coaching staff doesn't have this team. And maybe these guys are not playing for these guys, which was obviously far from the truth because they came together. We're seeing what the vision was in the offseason. And like Coach Salah said, I see it clicking. And when it clicks, it's going to be fun to watch. And we're watching it as it's turning. And these kids are learning and they're playing better. I'm praying that these guys stay healthy so we can watch all these kids play to their full potential and lead this team back to the playoffs.
Not to go too off on a tangent, but now that you mentioned Coach Salah, I think that was one of my favorite things about him when we hired him is that he brought up the fact that he was part of the rebuild in San Francisco, a team that ended up in the Super Bowl. He was a part of the Jacksonville rebuild that ended up going to the AFC Championship game. So he had done it before. He had seen what it takes. So that part of it that nobody really talked about too much kind of excited me because he's been there and seen how a team can go from absolutely the bottom to AFC Championship for Jacksonville, Super Bowl for 49ers. And he was part of the Seattle secondary, I want to say. I don't know what position he had, but he was part of the defense somewhere in Seattle when they were having their runs. So he's seen what it takes. So that part did excite me. As far as Sunday goes, I think Zach Wilson knows, and he'll make it a point. Maybe he'll even miss some throws that he might make because he wants to be so conservative. Because I think he's going to make it a point to not make the same mistakes he made against New England. I think it might even frustrate some fans because you might see a ball that he maybe could have let go, but he's going to be extra conservative. But I'm okay with that. I want him to lean on the run game, play kind of like the Buffalo Bills, 3-5, 3-4. Go ahead, hit your targets, hit that slant, hit that dump off. Like he's been doing that well. I think he's going to make a point to keep doing that. And I cannot see the Patriots doing anything on our defense. Now, I will tell you that I'm a little worried because I think the Patriots have the first or second most pressures against opposing QBs. Like they get to the QB. So I can see why Zach did what he did last game. Right. But, like I said, play it safe. Don't abandon the run like they did last week. And I think, like much like you guys, 24-10, I can definitely see that as a possible score.
I like it.
And no doubt. And listen, and if the defense can get us a short field and make a turnover, make Mac Jones, it might even be higher. But I think he will be conservative. But at the same time, I don't want him. There's a throw to be made. Make the throw. Just be confident in it. Don't sit back there, dance around, and then fling it because you feel like you have to fling it. Make your reads. Make the throw. We know he's got the arm talent. We know Garrett Wilson can get open anytime he wants. He's a Justin Jefferson in the making. He's got the skills. He may not be a big guy, but he gets up in the sky. He jumps up like he's MJ, and he's snagging these balls out of the air. So we'll see what they do with Elijah Moore. They're going to put him in the slot, try to get him more involved. Obviously, I would love to see that happen. I think he's another talented guy that, he hasn't got his shares of targets. I think he went the wrong way of trying to get more involved with the offense. But listen, he's changed his tune the last couple of weeks, and let's see if it translates to the field.
Well, last game he was running in motion before a lot of snaps. I have a feeling that they were kind of just seeing how the offense looked once he did those, and I think that we're actually going to finally see him maybe used in some of those play options on Sunday. Do you have anything else, Manny?
Honestly, I just want to be invited to the tailgate when you guys come down here. That's all it is, man. I want to make sure that the Battered Jets fan show with the co-host Bearded Fanatic is invited to the food show that's going to happen when you guys come down to Miami, man. I'm really excited to meet you guys in person.
No doubt, man. And we'll have a heck of a time. We'll eat good. We'll have a good time, and hopefully our teams are battling for the AFC title.
I think they will be, man. To be honest with you,
title. It's been we haven't won it since
2002.
Yeah. So, and I was at that game when they did, and that's because the Dolphins beat the the Patriots beat the Dolphins, and we beat Green Bay Packers, and we were in. So,
we had a 4:00 game, and I remember watching on TV the stadium go absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's when they have the old monitors, the old TV section. In certain sections, you walk up. This is before smartphones and stuff. So we went up to the screen. They did it, and then they put it on the big screen, and the whole crowd went crazy. And that's when the Jets knew we win and we're in. And they took over the game, and then the following week they beat
blew them out. Yep.
By the way, Danny, before you lead us out, literally all three of us just showed our ages, being able to say, first of all, 2002, and then obviously way before smartphones. We all just showed our ages on that one.
Yeah.
Well, 2002, I was what, like 11th grade, something like that.
Yeah.
I was a senior in high school when I went to that game.
All right, so he's older than us.
He's like a year older than us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
I remember I had one of those Nokia phones. It was a black and white screen, and the only game you had game.
The Snake.
Yep, the Snake.
Yeah, you weren't getting any NFL scores on that. I'll tell you that.
Hashtag Snake, bro. That's it.
Before we lead you out, I always ask this one question to Jets fans that I have on here. One favorite Jet player of all time and two favorite Jet memory of all time.
Well, my favorite Jets player, I think it's a close one between Curtis Martin and Wayne Corbett, but I'm going to go Wayne Corbett. I love the guy. He's so humble. We have the privilege and honor to hang out with him after every home game. I have him on my bus on one of the windows. So I'm going to say Wayne Corbett because he was a true underdog story. Came on as a walk-off from Hofstra and did his thing. The Green Lantern, Mr. Third Down. That's before the Wes Walker and all these other guys, Edelman, and he was the guy. He was the slot guy. That
no gloves, no pads. Oh, man, I used to love Wayne Corbett.
That's before the NFL knew what concussions were.
For sure.
He wasn't a big guy, and he's a true testament to what the green and white is all about.
Yeah. And favorite memory?
Well, I think I just brought it up. I was in high school, and we were watching that. There was a season finale, and just to hear the roar of that crowd, it was just, and everybody was so psyched. Let alone fast forward 20 years later, who would have thought that would have been the last time we won the AFC East? But I was there for that, and then I begged, borrowed, and steal to make sure I had tickets for the following game because the guy I went with had season tickets, but nobody thought the Jets were going to have a home playoff game, so he didn't submit it. So we had to go to PC Richards when they were selling Jets tickets and waited online to kind of get those.
Did you got him? You went?
We got him, and we went to the game, and
that's dope.
History.
All right, well, I'll lead us out with this last bit of Jets facts. Did you know that you went to only the 5th ever Jets home playoff game?
Did not know that.
They've only had 5 home playoff games in their entire history. That is rough, man. I think the Chiefs have had 5 in the last 2 years.
We're going to have one in 2023. Let's go. Get this win. Let's get the division, and let's toast one, baby.
Let me tell you something. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure out how to be there because I got to be there for the 6th because I don't know when there'll be a 7th.
Can you just imagine what that tailgate's going to be like?
No, I cannot imagine, but I'm excited to find out.
Crazy.
All right. With that, again, Lou, thank you very much to you, Frank, Claudio, and everybody for what you do, for joining us on this episode. We appreciate your time, and we can't wait to see you when you come down to Miami, honestly.
It's been an honor, guys. I love what you guys are doing. Whatever we can do to support, maybe have you go live at one of the tailgates when we're down in Miami and just show and let Frank show off. He talks a good game, but he also cooks a good game too. So
yes, he does.
That's why I'll leave it to him, and he'll show you what he's got.
You know, we have some friends that are like Cowboys fans and other stuff, but they listen, to support us or whatnot. And they're like, man, you guys had to have Frank back on. They found Frank to be absolutely hilarious.
Well,
so
him in game form. That was just a little preview. That was
right.
That was Frank on Wednesday. Just imagine Frank on.
I can't imagine Frank on Sunday.
I know we're about to lead out. Have you guys already purchased your tickets for the game, or does that happen later on?
Well, we purchased it because there's 2 other guys from our crew that's coming, so we wanted to sit together because normally it's tough to get 4 seats in a row.
Yep.
So 2 here, 2 there. So I was able to find 4 tickets in section 119, which is the south end zone. We're like row, I think 15. So we'll be there. The Gotham City Crew flag will be coming because we'll have 4 guys to spread it open and wave it every time the Jets score a touchdown.
What section are you, Manny?
They'll be near us. I'm section 130, row 1.
Okay. Nice. Row 1, right behind the Jets. We'll be in section 119 in the end zone above that Optimum Club thing.
Yeah.
We'll be there with the flag.
Sure it's 119 or 129?
119.
Okay. Yeah. No. The 129 is the deep end. I don't think they're going to find 4 tickets and run the deep end.
No, they're not going to deep end. All right. Well, again, thanks a lot for joining Gotham City Crew. Big
that
up
was
to
for New England you're talking about, right?
No. I'm sorry. For the Dolphins game.
Oh no, I was talking about New England. I was talking about Sunday. No, we haven't bought our tickets yet.
Okay, perfect. Let us know as soon as you do. See if you can get it near us.
Okay, 1:30. I'll keep that in mind, definitely.
All
right, guys. So again, thank you for listening to episode number 11 of the Battle Jets Fans. We'll catch you next week when we're celebrating being top of the AFC East. Fuck the Dolphins, and we'll catch you guys next week.